Let's take a look at how to create activities in CarbonPath. We'll use the business unit Maracana as the demonstration example. This is a company that has 3 vessels and logged value chain activities in the year of 2024, but no activities in the year 2025 as of yet. The most common way of creating activities in CarbonPath is to use the file import. Here I have a sample import file. This is what you would typically get from an ERP system or a purchase system, where you have a lot of records of purchases, a common value chain activity. We can see that these are mainly purchases of lubricants and foodstuff supplies for the company's vessels, all performed over a couple of weeks in January. To import this file, I navigate to the File Import page and select to import activities. In the next step, I get to map the columns in my file with the activity properties in CarbonPath. My file had well-named columns, so CarbonPath was able to automatically map them. After clicking Next, I get to do the same with the values in the file, allowing me to handle any discrepancies in spelling between the source system and CarbonPath. At this point, we are ready to either import the activities directly or to first create a preview that I can validate, which is what I'll do. Very large files may take some time to create a preview for, so it will be generated in the background. Now my preview is available, and I can scrutinize the activities that will be created if I choose to proceed with this import. Here, I can confirm that the data matches my expectation, and I can also see that some automation rules has already handled the calculation of emissions, saving me from that work later. Now all of these activities have been created, and I can go and view them in the emissions inventory. Here, we see the final activities created from the data in my imported file and the enrichments made by the automation rules configured. I can now proceed and estimate the emissions of the remaining pending activities. When editing an activity, I first see the information that came from my spreadsheet. There's no suitable emission factor in my collection, but I can easily search for one and import it. After confirming the emission factor, CarbonPath calculates the upstream emissions caused of this purchase. The activity is now complete. If I now navigate to the dashboard, I can see that our work of calculating the Scope 3 emissions of our company for 2025 is now underway. Activities can also be created directly in CarbonPath. This is often useful for one-off activities or emission-causing value chain events that cannot be exported from other systems. To create an activity, I click Create Activity on the Emissions Inventory page. This lets me add information about the activity. We're going to add an activity representing a dry docking expense for one of our vessels. We'll assume that this dry dock visit cost us $150,000 and that our shipyard provided us the number 8,000 kilograms of carbon dioxide equivalents as their total emissions for the services provided. With all the fields filled out, I can save this activity and observe it in the emissions inventory. If the shipyard cannot provide emissions data for their services, we can also use our own emission factor for dry docking expenses in the shipyard's country and calculate the emissions using the spend-based method. CarbonPath includes integrations with leading emission factor providers that can be used by subscribers to quickly build up their collection of emission factors. The activity is now completely estimated and is included in the total emissions on the dashboard. Activities can also be created by external systems, though calling CarbonPath's REST API. Let's quickly demonstrate how to create an activity reflecting a purchase order in an ERP system. Using the data in my ERP system, I create a record in the standard JSON format. We can see from the record that this is a replenishment of kitchen stores for $10,000. The category, vessel, the supplier are referenced with their unique CarbonPath IDs. I'll now use my API client and post this record to CarbonPath. Going back to the web client, I can now see that this activity has been created. I also observed that one of our automation rules has added an emission factor and calculated the Scope 3 emissions of the activity for me. The changelog of the activity provides the details of what the rule engine did, providing full traceability and auditability of any activity in CarbonPath. At scale, ERP or purchasing systems push their data to CarbonPath and delegate the estimation of emissions from the activities to CarbonPath's automation rules. This makes time available for ESG professionals to focus on identifying emission hotspots and making action plans. To learn more about the features and capabilities of CarbonPath, check out our other videos or go to our website at carbonpath.ai.